Welcome to the Beauties podcast, where we talk about everything you need to know about women's sports. From the grassroots to the pros, we got it all. Today on the show, we talk about week 2 in the Olympics, a thank you to the PWHPA, and a surprise NASCAR announcement. Here are your hosts, Addie and Cowie.
Episode 12, we are underway. And it's Valentine's Day. Oh my gosh, happy Valentine's Day.
Oh, thanks, buddy. We both left our wives at home and decided to hang out with each other, which is cool.
You got plans tonight?
I know, and mine actually did ask, do you have plans? Or can we go for supper? And I said, well, no, I'm recording with Addie.
Recording night.
Yeah.
Beauties night.
Yeah, no. So for everyone who's just joining us today, happy Valentine's Day. We know we're going to be a day late for you, but hopefully you enjoyed your day. Thanks for coming back. Little plug of ourselves that we never do off the top, but you can find us on a lot of places. Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at Beauty Sports Talk.
Twitter.
At _Beauty Sports.
Love it.
Voicemail at speakpipe.com/Beauty Sports. And anywhere you find your podcast, which is where you found us today.
Yeah, so thank you so much for tuning in again. Welcome. If you are new, we appreciate you being here. This is... We've got a bunch of kind of fun little facts going on today with the Olympics, and I'm all about Twitter nowadays. You know, I'm all about Twitter.
From zero to hero on the Twitter.
Yeah, legit. That's the truth right there. And I've got my Timmy's straight black. Straight black. Oh, yeah. Oh,
like you chew your coffee, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. I need it that way. Survival
I know.
mode.
Addie has come over before and asked, like, hey, Cowie, can I have a coffee? And I'm like, dude, we don't even have a coffee maker in our house. We don't drink it. So you have to stop on your way here.
Yeah, you can have one if you bring the coffee maker and the coffee and the cup. Yeah, man.
We got cups. We got cups.
Oh, yeah, I guess it's true. You got cups.
We do live here. We do consume liquid. We do have cups.
Yeah. This is my house.
Yeah.
But yeah, like we've got, that's the one thing that when I was going through this week and I was looking for everything that, you know, we generally talk about, it kind of kept on being like, you know, we talked a lot last week about like the sponsorship and the money that's being flooded back into women's sports. And this one caught my eye. Busch Light. We've had a couple Busch Light in our day.
I've had too many.
I've had a couple too many. $10 million commitment over 3 years for female drivers in NASCAR.
Yeah, that when you told me that, that's wild. We actually, the company that I work for sponsors some drivers, one male, one female.
Whoa.
But yeah, Busch Light, man. I used to back in the penny pinching days.
Oh yeah.
It's not a bad option.
University was
right.
Busch Light all the way.
It's like worse than a wine hangover.
Oh, it's a doozy.
Yeah,
but
let's not.
We could go down a rabbit hole of some Busch Light stories, but
great. That's super cool,
yeah, right?
I love
like
that.
I thought that was a really cool way to start the show today because when you think about like the growth, like the $75 million commitment to the WNBA, the $25 million commitment to the PHF, all these, and now $10 million to NASCAR female drivers, like that to me shows that there's a whole other side of that industry that is going to just skyrocket. Because what it was Danica Patrick, who was like the dynamite, unbelievable driver for so long. And she was she was the pioneer. She was the first one, right?
Yeah, well, as far as I know, but
right?
I'm also less expert on, I will be honest, on all things driving.
Yeah, like now we have to watch NASCAR. Now we have to watch NASCAR.
I have some buddies who are big into that and, you know, going to the Indianapolis 500 and all these things. And it's like, I feel like it's one of those things that I mean, I can find earplugs and watch cars drive in a circle all day. That's cool. But I think it's for like the tailgate, which we can do that anywhere.
Yeah, we could do
Doesn't
that.
matter if that's...
I would agree with you in that. It's a lot of the atmosphere of what it is because it's an insane amount of people that go.
Wild.
Like
And
200,000 people.
Well, like you can't talk to your bud.
You're not like chit-chatting throughout the race.
All you're doing is listening to the hum of cars. So
Yeah.
like we'd have to take mics and things. They hear each other.
Well, exactly. So I was like, this just opens up a whole other realm of, things that, well, we got more drivers because it's not just one driver that's getting $10 million
I was going to ask you
commitment.
that.
It's going to be numerous drivers.
Did they say how
They
they're
had
going to
this,
split it?
they didn't. It didn't get into like the
Well, maybe they haven't
specifics of it.
decided.
Yeah. I think it's just like Busch Lights tossing out some cash
Some
money and
coin
here we go,
for
which
the
I'm
ladies
all about.
specifically, which is awesome.
Which I am all about. So that was pretty cool to see. And even just sorry, my head just went to a completely different place, but like with Pioneers with Danica Patrick and stuff, and then you've got somebody like Billie Jean King
Mm-hmm.
for the Super Bowl.
This is a left field,
Right?
Yeah.
That's where I was like, my head went to a completely different place. But the coin toss for the
Yeah.
Super Bowl was Billie Jean King. I'm like, there's a feel of like bringing old school, like female athletes, the legacy
right?
people back in. Like,
Yeah, I agree. I think that's it. That's a really interesting point because there is a lot of momentum in women. I'm not even in women's sports, in supporting women in sports right now.
right.
Right? Everyone's catching the news of when you have a woman who's broken into a historically male role.
Yeah.
Like we're seeing that more and more. That's a really good example at the Super Bowl. Yeah, there's a lot of momentum, and I think that's a great place to start is in this legacy because you think of the fans or the fans with money right now
Mm-hmm.
are that age. Like let's bring back that one story they know about
Oh, yeah.
or let's, take this foundation that in some ways in the next generation of fans, the ones who are watching the Olympics right now don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
But the money exists with the people of those legacy supporters, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So like even listening to the Business Case for Women's Sports, the podcast with Caroline Fitzgerald, she talks about this stuff all the time. She
Mhm.
talks about like the investment back into women's sports. She did a whole thing with the founder of Zoomph, who
Yeah.
literally was able to essentially say like people are getting women like female athletes at a discount right now because
Oh,
somebody like Simone Biles puts out a tweet and it's worth
yeah.
millions of dollars. And then she even tweets last night about how Michelob Ultra.
I had 2 of those for lunch today. Fun fact.
Just a quick segue there. That's so funny.
If that was a joke, that'd be even more funny, but
funny.
it's real.
But it's legit.
Yeah.
They aired a commercial with all these legend, and they were like named Serena Williams the GOAT of tennis. Like in the like, what's bigger than Super Bowl commercials? Like,
Oh boy, not
and,
much.
And so Michelob Ultra in that time went and plugged Serena Williams and
Love
all
that.
these absolute legends. Billie Jean King doing the coin toss. For me, there's this really big push for meshing and like equality. Like it's super cool. Like I was pretty pumped to see all this stuff.
Yeah, totally. That's a really good point. And on like, there's not really a bigger sports stage than the Super Bowl.
No.
I love that.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of really cool things. And yeah, Caroline Fitzgerald runs an incredible podcast for anybody that's into all of that kind of stuff, the Business Case for Women's Sports. And it's all just about people that have either committed to the investment of women's sports or why they should. And she
Mhm.
brings on some incredible guests. So yeah, check it out because it's awesome. And then like another big headline, because it just kept going and going with the Olympics, Hillary Knight ties Jenny Potter and Angela Giro for the most Olympic games played in Team USA history.
Yeah, what'd you say? 21, right?
21 games.
Which doesn't sound like a lot, but again, we've talked about this. The Olympics happen every 4 years,
Yeah.
and you play a handful, 5, 6 at most.
Yeah, because we were talking about it with Diana Taurasi and Sue Bird.
Right.
Where it's like, oh yeah, no, they're
Yeah, it
just in their
sounds like
fifth
a-
Olympics. It's like,
Yeah, that's
Wait a-
20 years.
wait a second.
Yeah.
It's 2 decades.
Yeah, literally.
Right?
It skews your vision of what that actually means. So, yeah, that's amazing. Congrats to Hillary Knight.
Yeah. And so we're gearing up for a pretty big game too. Like Hockey Canada is undefeated. USA undefeated. There's been
They have a defeat. They both can't be undefeated in the same pool, my friend.
that's right.
They both can't be defeated
Oh,
in
yeah,
the same
yeah, no,
pool.
for yeah. I get it. But so they're gonna be playing against each other, obviously, in the gold
Yep.
medal in the Olympics, the biggest game of the year. And I was just thinking today, like, obviously they play hockey throughout the 4 years, but could you imagine, like, you're not trying to have or think about that pressure of that moment, but you've been training. You've been doing skill sessions. You've been working out for 4 years
Yep.
for this one game.
I know. I know. And it's also why, remember, you used to always hear, you win the gold, you lose the silver. Like, why
Oh,
it is
yeah.
so soul crushing in those games. The rivalry is, to me, one of the best in all of
I
sports.
agree. I
And
agree.
and I hate to say this out loud, but it's always scary to me when they win in the round robin.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm with you.
Because it's, you want to win in the round robin, and then you want to win in the gold game.
Yep.
But man, you want to talk about fire in the belly after giving up what I would call really an upset win in the Canada-US game,
Yeah.
where the US came out absolute guns blazing.
Yeah.
Canada survived
In the first
half of
in
the game.
yeah, in the first 20 minutes,
Yeah,
I was on the edge of my seat.
right?
I'm like, this is it.
It's going to get bad.
Yeah, this is where we turn. And
Yeah.
then there's something that just happens in Team Canada where it's just like
There's
they just flick a switch or something because it would the first 20 minutes of that game, USA dominated.
absolutely.
Absolutely dominated.
Yeah.
There's no question about
Yeah.
it. And then Team Canada,
It's like they've got these core that just put the team on their back.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
then, okay, so I got a question for you. Did MPP deserve a penalty shot?
So very interesting. I went back and I watched it. I think it's because she did get her right in the middies. She did get
I
her
agree.
right in the
I
midst.
agree.
But was she in a shooting motion? Like, was she in a shooting motion? That's the questionable part.
And then where she still maintained possession and got a shot off.
Right?
Oh,
Yeah.
I was just like, whoa, I mean, that referee has got some kahunas to just be confident in that call.
you're
Because I'm
right.
sure if I was on Team USA, I'd have been losing my mind.
Oh yeah. And that was a generating. That's when the ice tilted in the other direction.
1000%.
That's when the ice tilted. So
1000%.
that's like, you're right. I went back and I watched it. I was like, she for sure gets her blade in the midst.
Oh, I 100% agree with you.
And then she loses control of her stick.
Yeah.
And then regains control of her stick.
And gets a shot off.
So yeah, that's
Like,
a tough one.
I don't think
Either.
I'm not assuming that there is a right answer. I was just like, whoa, that's one for a debate,
Yeah,
because
I agree.
I'm happy about it because I am naturally a
Well,
Canadian hockey fan, but
can't be mad about it, right?
No.
And everybody likes a good old shoot. Like,
and that was the first ever shootout goal in women's hockey in the Olympic history.
wow.
Pretty sure they said. And
It's
then there was
always-
also another one.
and
And it's funny that it's Marie-Philippe Plan who's like got every records, like
Yeah.
just the golden goals
Yeah.
of all time. And then in the same Olympics, I feel like it was the Swiss team, they said, also had a penalty shot and scored. So that poor girl was the second. It's like never happens, and then 2 in 1 Olympics.
We have to give it to Marie-Philippe Poulin first.
Yeah.
And then we'll
but
we'll
here's
get
your
to
blue ribbon for second place.
silver. Yeah, no, she's got something. She is one special hockey
Oh,
player.
man, is she ever.
Poulin. Yeah. And you know what? From what you see and what you hear from people, and because there's been countless players where they're good and they tell you that they're good.
Yeah, everyone.
You just hear that she's just like the biggest sweetheart
So
of all
humble.
time.
Yeah.
So humble, like just loves Hockey Canada and just
Oh, yeah.
loves her teammates. And that's a really Canadian story.
Yeah, I agree, and that you're right. That's all you ever hear is about that, and I think, that's also what makes her so. She's one of those people that you're just gonna remember. When she
Yeah.
retires, it's gonna be a humongous loss for our country and for women's hockey as a whole. But
Yeah.
it's just one of those who she is at
Yeah.
her core is what makes her so special.
Yeah.
And she's also just killer at hockey.
Unreal. And that's the thing. It's like she's only 30. Like, doesn't that blow your
Yeah, she
mind?
makes me feel
All
old.
the things that she's accomplished in her life. And she
I
just had
know.
like her 30th birthday, or she's turning 30. It's like, okay, done a couple things.
Doesn't it make your like you think about your own life and you're like, yeah.
Yep. Cool. Cool. Yep. Or yeah. Yeah, let's move on now.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
so yeah, like I think that that's going to be uh really a really good game because it always is. It always is. But then one of the things we were on Instagram this week and somebody Tori Spencer.
Mm-hmm. I know, I love Tor. She always
She wants to chat tendies. She wants to chat about the Czech goalie who absolutely stood on her head against USA.
yeah, well, she did that.
Which, like she plays in a great club, Modo, in Sweden, and you just wonder because there was that article that came out from that woman in Toronto that doesn't need 1 second of airtime
No,
from us, but
agreed.
who said that the medals are cheap and whatever. But it raises the argument of where is funds and what's happening in these other countries to actually get to the point where it's not always a Canada US final.
Mhm.
Because when we were chatting before, like Finland,
Yeah,
they are a better team than what they
100%.
presented in this Olympics. Like they are, and any hockey fan knows that, and
Mhm.
any hockey fan knows that the best goalie in the world was left off of that
Yep.
roster.
Yeah, we talked about that where we felt in the last, if you even want to look back at the last Olympics, it was a very different podium.
Oh yeah.
And it felt like, to your point, that the tables were starting to turn where we were going to have a more common 4 mainstays, right? In Canada, US, Sweden, and Finland, that would kind of be that top battle instead
Yeah.
of just this Canada US rivalry. And then we come into 2022 Olympics. I'm sorry, Sweden was non-existent.
Yeah.
And like you say, Finland did not bring their best team.
Right. Like that has got to be one of the biggest highlights. I don't want to say highlight, but one of the biggest conversations we have to talk about is how did Noora Raty not
Yeah.
make it to the Olympics? We all know something must have happened behind the scenes where
Mhm.
there was maybe a little bit of turmoil between her and the coach, but at that point, she is in my opinion, one of like top 3
Yeah.
goalies in the world.
Yep.
She deserves to be there. She deserves to be there. It doesn't matter. Like you have to put your sorry to keep interrupting because I'm just so fired up about it. It's like you have to put your ego aside. Like
Yeah.
she was she should have been there because she's there. Finland has a way different showing.
Agreed.
And no disrespect to the goalies that are in Finland right now, but Noora Raty is she's a premier goalie.
Yeah.
She needed to be there.
100% needed to be there.
And then so when you talk about this Czech goalie,
Klara Peslarova.
there you go.
Nailed it.
That plays in Modo in Sweden, 4 goals on 59 shots. And then you have, Switzerland turn around and get 3 goals on Canada,
yeah.
like there is talent out there. And it's like, as soon as
Yeah, these countries need to invest at the same level.
Right.
To promote that, right?
Yeah, because there are Canadian players that are in Modo that are playing, that we know from here, Erica Reeder, JC Magwood. These players are going over there and they are training like pro athletes. They are doing those things, but that's a club team. That's not an international program. That's a club team who has a very successful men's program associated with it in Modo Sweden. So It's like
There's a miss somewhere.
it's exactly right. There's a
Yeah.
miss somewhere in these international programs where somebody like Noora being left off of Finland would be like us not taking Sidney Crosby.
Well, you're right though. When you look at it as like a national icon.
Oh, 100%. Sorry, Mary Philip Poulin. I
Yeah.
don't like I didn't
Yeah,
like
Troy
the way
Ryan
you
just doesn't
responded.
like you today,
Yeah,
so we're not taking
we're
you.
not going to take you. It doesn't make any sense. It's truly
But also as the like as your governing body from Hockey Finland or whatever they call themselves, like at what point does someone step in and say, yeah,
whoa.
maybe the coach should go?
That's a miss. Yeah,
don't know.
no, for sure. I could go on for days about that because that just is absolutely crazy to me. So it's gonna be fun to watch the final of the Olympics here. Lots of moving parts in the Olympics. So much that we can get into. But okay, big air skiing, like skiing
Mhm.
big air.
Yeah.
They go so high. And that's very ignorant of me to say because obviously it's called big air.
Yeah.
When you watch and then they do the camera angle where you can't see anything underneath and it's just them in the sky,
Yeah.
it's like, okay. Okay.
I think you know what needs to be on our list is X Games sometime.
Oh, totally.
Because last week I just had deja vu of the ski jumping. Because you were like, they go so far. And this week you're like, they go so high. It's like, yeah, bud, that's the point. No, I love because you're absolutely fearless.
When you're that high and you're thinking about the amount of control you have to have.
And they look out of control because they're spinning
'cause they're sp-
5 times in the air, whatever it is. They just look like, oh, you're just like a top in the air, and then all of a sudden they land. Like, it's wild.
Yeah, it's crazy. So the Olympics has been very
How about
cool.
Chloe Kim repeating in the Olympics for the gold for the USA?
Unbelievable.
Yeah, in 2018, she was the youngest female to win the half pipe.
Unbelievable.
And then, like, not only defended it, but like crushed it.
Yeah. Yeah. Like no question. No question.
And then got on a plane. I follow her on Instagram. Got on a plane and it was like, peace out, Beijing. And then the next thing on her story was like, what up, Super Bowl?
Come on.
Yeah. I was like, I want your life.
Yeah. Come on.
But also, she's probably, I mean, that maybe worked in her favor of the time change or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I
just
guess.
lived it up at the Super Bowl.
Wow. Good for her. Well, she deserves it because she absolutely crushed that.
She was wildly good.
It was insane. But like, speaking of that, the LPGA, like with all these women living all these cool lives, like Nelly Corda's chartering a jet to go to a bachelorette party and stuff. I was like, okay, they get a week off and the ladies are hitting the town.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
we went
I love
and
it.
floated the river in Red Lake and drank a bunch of beers, or what's it called? Not Red Lake. I don't know.
Yeah, I know.
Red
River Falls. Red.
Yeah,
something like that. Somewhere around there. Yeah.
We all caravan in our campers and slum in the tents and float the, at that point, barely flowing river.
Right.
Just throw the beer cans to shore and collect them later. Jeez.
Yeah, it's that's a good time though. That is a very good time.
Yeah.
Because even with the long break that's happened, the LPGA is taking a break. They're not back till March 3rd in Singapore for the HSBC Women's World Championship. They announced the captains for the Solheim Cup already.
Which that is wildly early.
It's early, but I'm so excited about who they picked.
And you also are just in general excited about the Solheim Cup. I know you love it.
It's if there was one event,
you'd pick that.
I'd pick that one. I want to go to the Solheim Cup so bad, and it's in Spain.
Yeah, so we could
Beauties
ask
to
Tara
Spain?
and Ash for tickets.
Yeah, let's go. That's where
we got we got a Christmas and a birthday each.
Yeah, to Spain.
Yeah, so pool your money and send us to Spain for the Solheim Cup.
We know what we want.
Yeah, you can use my buddy pass at
Spain.
WestJet. Save you girls some coin.
Yeah. And so Team USA has picked Stacey Lewis as team captain,
Yep.
and Team Europe, Suzanne Pedersen. And the cool part about this, like, it's in Spain, September 18th to 24 in 2023. So it's a
A
long
long
ways
time away.
away. So
Yeah.
yeah, it is, premature a little bit, but I think
It does though set the stage of like
that's exactly what I was
Yeah.
gonna say when they found out Stacey Lewis was chosen,
Mhm.
it was everywhere. Everybody was so jacked about it. They're like, nobody deserves it more. I agree. I think with this little break that they have,
Yeah.
that now they've announced it.
Yeah.
Now moving forward, everybody is going to be thinking about it. Like,
Oh, for sure.
you know what I mean? Everyone's going to
sure.
be wanting to
Yeah.
try to get their spot. Everyone's going to be trying. Like, I think I think it feels a little bit early, but it's going to come faster than what we think. And it's, yeah.
Well, it's already Valentine's Day.
Yeah. It's Valentine's Day.
Honest to God, though, I feel like it was just New Year's, and then all of a sudden it's like, whoops, forgot the flowers.
Yeah, that's very true.
So yeah, you're right. September 2023 will be here fast.
Yeah. So, little break. They're back in Singapore.
Yeah, March 3.
March 3, 1.7 million purse. I'm digging the amount of money that's cruising around women's sports
too.
right now.
Loving
I
it.
love it.
Loving it.
I love that every time we get on, we talk about somebody in the millions, or
I know.
I think it's so cool. And so it's gonna be. I'm so pumped for Stacey Lewis. It's crazy. I love it. I
Add
love
her
it.
to the favorites list.
Courtney Vandersloot. What a segue, because it's
Unofficially official.
it's unofficially official.
Thanks
that-
to
Oh my God. My new favorite person on Twitter, Christina Williams.
I know Addie's Insider.
The Insider. I look for what she posts every single day.
Yeah.
She is. And the thing with her is that her audience is so into it, and I get it because I'm one of them now. Because she posted like a little, like a teacup, like tea's coming. And the comments were like, boom, 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 boom,
The
boom, boom. What do you know? What do
tease.
you know? What do
The
you know?
tease.
Don't do this to me. And I was like, on the other side of it, I'm like, Christina, don't do this to me. I need to know. Because she's got all the information.
Yeah.
So if you don't follow Christina Williams on Twitter, please do so. She has everything with the WNBA. At Christina, I think her handle is. So she's got everything. But unofficially official, she said that, Quiggs and Sloot are going to go back to Chicago. We will be sitting courtside Chicago next year at some point.
Okay.
I need it. I need it for my soul.
Okay, but now we got to start prioritizing here. So what's higher on your list? Solheim Cup? Well, that's 2023.
I was just going to say, I'm going to play I'm going to play the card. 2022 Chicago Sky Game.
Okay, I'm into it.
Solheim Cup, ripping off to Spain.
Oh man, when you posted it on Instagram that you were smiling from ear to ear with that picture, I was dying laughing. Like, of course, you actually here, cheers.
Yeah, thank you. I'm serious. I am.
You're jacked about it.
I'm
as you
jacked
should
about
be.
it. I think it's what Chicago needs for next season.
Yeah.
I think that with Diamond DeShields leaving, if they didn't get Diamond DeShields back and Allie Quigley and Courtney Vandersloot,
Yeah.
that team would look so different. They've already lost Stephanie Dolson.
Yeah.
I just didn't think that they could handle anymore. Dolson's gone. DeShields is
The
gone.
compassion.
I can't handle it. I can't do it.
Can't
do this
more
to
loss.
Candace. I can't do this to Candace.
Okay, there.
Right?
You're justifying it now.
Yeah. So Christina Williams keeps me up to date on Twitter. So
All right.
she had that up today, which was very, very nice to see. Very happy with the WNBA season starting on May 6th. One of the cool things that I also did see, because everybody knew that Brianna Stewart was on UFA, unrestricted free agent. They did like this whole story on her and her family. It was this really cool video online.
Okay.
And it's her and her wife and her daughter walking around the stadium.
Cool.
And or the arena. And there's pictures of her and she just looks at the camera and she's like, Seattle's my home. Like,
Yeah.
I was never going anywhere. My
Yeah.
family was, my
You're
daughter was born
grounded
here.
there, eh?
This
Yeah.
is where my family is. And I thought that was a really cool, like, connecting piece for them to do, is to show that, like, it's starting to get to the point where, like, Brianna Stewart is going to be the GM of the Seattle Storm when she's
Yeah.
done. Like, you know how, like, when Steve Yzerman is my favorite
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
NHL player. So when Stevie Y was done,
Yeah.
it was like Stevie Y was the heart and soul of Detroit.
Yep.
So now
Yeah.
he's in Tampa now, but he was back in the back office. Like, I feel like that respect is starting to be built in these franchises. And with her walking around with her wife, walking around with her kid, I was like, that tug on the heartstrings a little
For
bit. I
sure.
was like, that's a great move by Seattle.
For
Very
sure.
cool.
For sure. Yeah.
Very
We've
cool.
talked about that too, right? How we're getting to a point, which is the best part,
Mm-hmm.
is that some of these leagues have been around long enough that you're growing it. That sounds weird to say growing it, but you're literally growing these athletes into your organizations. We've been around long enough that you're probably not wrong that some of these that are going to leave the leagues and retire, which is so cool, will stick around.
Yeah. Oh, and that's what I think when I think about Candace Parker going to Chicago.
Yeah.
Right? Like, she's going there to be a part of Chicago Sky. I think she went there. She went home, and now when she decides to retire, who knows when that is, it's going to be like, "Okay, no, I'm a part of this, you know."
Invested in it.
Becky Hammond going back to Vegas.
Yeah, very good point.
You know, like, this kind of feel of like you're getting to the point in the WNBA where you're a franchise player.
For sure.
You're looking at players now to be your franchise face. And I think that that's what they're doing with Brianna Stewart, obviously. Who wouldn't? They have Sue Bird there as well. Jewel Lloyd. Like, they've got such a cool
Yeah, they're
group.
not bad.
Yeah, no. They're gonna be good. You know, in Phoenix, Diana Taurasi, Griner, like, all
these
this,
like big name rosters. Yeah.
you know, so cool. So
Cool.
I was pumped that they did that for sure. So I'm excited.
Yeah.
May, that's gonna come up quick too. My God.
I
I always
know.
see them, they're all posting that they're getting back into the gym together and starting to train again. Like, season's gonna be here before we know it.
And we can actually watch it pretty easily, which I love.
Yes, very easily.
Yeah.
It's going to be very cool. And that is one thing that we have to give credit for the PHF.
Yeah. Getting easier to watch.
Getting easier to watch. And the one point that you made, which I thought was great, is for the PHF, they're saying now, watch here if you're in Canada, watch here if you're in the US, watch here if you're international.
They're actually telling people how to view.
Yeah, they're pushing people in the direction of where they should go, which I'm like, gotta make it easier. Yeah, everything we do, we gotta make it easier for people to find information about the sports.
Yeah, because I think I have like jerry-rigged my way around being able to watch ESPN on my own. And I was like, oh yeah, Daddy, I can watch it. But what it took is for me to have a VPN to hide my IP address to look like I'm in the US and get a buddy's DirecTV login from the US.
Yeah.
To be able to watch. It's so like that's
it's a
unique.
lot.
You'd never be able to do that. So that I agree that was really nice where it was like TSN Direct, TSN 2.
Yep.
And ESPN, I can't remember what they call that. It's ESPN Plus in the US and ESPN something internationally. So great. They do a really, really good job. Did you watch any PHF this weekend? I watched a little bit, not a ton, but I did watch some.
Utes got a W.
I know. Those two games, okay, so the Beauties played the Riveters, and it was 3-2 finals, flip-flop back and forth, right? So Beauties won the first one 3-2, Riveters won the second one 3-2.
Yep.
Did you see how many penalties? I think there was 25 penalties or something. I was taking a look at that the other day.
Yeah, I did.
was wild.
And it's one of my biggest pet peeves when it comes to women's hockey is because the first 10 minutes, you have to find out what your ref is like.
Yeah.
Are they going to let you play the body or are they
Yeah.
not going to let you play the body? Where do we stand with you as a ref? Because it's always so
Yes.
like,
And
are
that
you
was
going to let me hit or you're not going to let me hit?
yeah,
Because
that was my part of my point too, is that on the Saturday game, it was like 12 penalties, and they were pretty evenly split, but 12 penalties, and I'm gonna say 9 of 12 were either like you're saying, either body checking or roughing or cross checking or like something of that.
right.
Then you fast forward to Sunday's game, 13 penalties, I think it was. Again, evenly split. No, none of them. It was all hooks and trips, and so it makes they had to, I think, they changed their game based on,
Yeah.
and now you've got new referees who call an entirely different game. I agree with you. It's super frustrating to
Yeah.
have to like have that temperature check
Every
every time
single
you step
time
on
you
the
play.
ice.
And I could go down such a deep rabbit hole with this kind of stuff because I think when you're teaching proper technique about actually playing the
Yep.
body,
Yep.
it's never truly a hit. You can complete to the boards, but then you have people that go, "Oh, well, just blanket statement. Girls can't hit." That's totally false and we shouldn't be saying it.
Yeah.
Of course we can. It
Yeah.
just can't be a hit from behind or a boarding or an open ice hit. Like,
Yeah.
but when you're angling properly, you take the body, you hips to hands, complete to the boards, and you're skating away. Nobody loses their forward motion.
Yeah.
What's the issue?
I know.
What's the issue?
I always hated that term. I always hated it. And if you're right, if you're one of the few who, well, I shouldn't even say it that way. I grew up playing boys hockey, and so I learned how to hit. And in learning that, which now we actually teach in hockey, how to hit,
Right.
in learning how to hit when I was a kid, I also learned what it looks like not to, I'm using air quotes here for those of you listening, hit,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And the word in itself skews it.
Yeah. Agreed. And it creates a line. And
Yeah.
that's the part that I
Yeah.
don't like. It creates a definitive line of like you cannot hit. Well, it's the hitting portion is too gray area
Mhm.
that when you get somebody that may not be as educated in the female game now roughing a female game and all
Yep.
that's in their head is
Can't make contact. They
can't
think
make
about hit
contact.
as make contact.
Yeah.
Yep.
So now you've got, you know, even when you think about a defense protecting their dot line and then angling the player off when they're going wide,
Yep.
it's like she should be able to take her to the boards.
Yeah.
Like that
Yeah.
is contact. That
Play
is
the position. Yeah,
play
I
the position.
I know. I know.
And so
Anyways, we don't need to go down
we
that because we
can.
could go.
That's
we
what
could
I
have a
mean. I
whole
was like,
episode on that. But it was
We're gonna have
interesting
a
because
segue.
you had the PHF, so those two games, which was very much. I agree. This whole reffing. It also speaks to. I don't want to say the caliber of those two teams that were playing, but in a way, it did. Where there was a bit of a run around defensive zone and
Right.
whatever.
Right.
And then we go on the opposite end of that, and we had the Six playing in 2 games against the Whitecaps.
Right.
First one was an absolute blowout, 6-2. And the shots were like 45 to 20 something.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the Sunday game, shots were close to the same thing, but it was a 2-1, actually not bad game.
Yeah. And Toronto 6 with the goaltending that they have
Oh,
with the
truly, man. It's going to be hard to beat her.
Yeah. She's in serious contention for league MVP in my opinion.
Yeah, and she just
No
leads in
question.
every category she can, like by a landslide.
By a landslide.
Yeah.
So, and then you got MGM. Like for Minnesota to be able to take a game like that 6-2, make the adjustments that they need to do, and then shut down those players, I think it's a super positive thing for Minnesota
sure,
heading into the
Good
playoffs.
point. Yep.
Because it, you got Emma Woods, who's on the score sheet
All
every
the time.
game.
Yeah, and MGM I think has like a 7-point lead or something in the scoring
Mhm.
race. Like she is just absolutely lighting it on fire.
Yeah.
It's hard to imagine going into the Isobel Cup here coming up in let's call it a month and a half, 6 weeks maybe,
Yeah.
end of March. It's so hard to imagine. I mean, those 2 wins for the 6 put them back on top.
Hmm.
Again, there was that little discrepancy in games played, so that starts to even it out a bit more.
We're between 12 and 14 right now.
Right.
1 to 2 games. That's
Right.
it. So that's huge. That's huge.
And then going into that Isobel Cup, which you and I, it's really an interesting structure. We're not gonna talk too much about it, but all 6 teams are flying to Florida for a weekend, essentially, to crown the league champion of the PHF.
Hmm.
3 versus 6. No, yep, 3 versus
3
6,
versus
4
6.
versus 5. 1 and 2 get a bye to the semis.
Yep.
I wonder, to me, like, is that sometimes a bye isn't the best thing.
No,
'Cause you
I
sit there and wait,
have a
right?
couple too many Mai Tais on the beach.
Well, hey, in
That's
Florida,
what
they
I'm
might be having
talking.
some Mai Tais.
So I agree. Like, you got to be
Sometimes
thinking,
not the
because as of right
best.
now, you got to think it'd be like the 6 for sure. You think, and then Connecticut and Boston. Like, between those 3 teams,
Yeah.
it is going to be 2 of them. And I'm with you. Even if you end up in like the top, so if you end up in 3rd and you're playing 6, like, you clearly have a decent chance of winning.
Yeah.
You're on your blades, you're skating, puck
Right.
touches. Like,
Yeah.
the top 2 teams have to be really smart in that situation and how they manage that time,
Mhm.
because it's really up to the team dynamic, because you could need a break, but when you're going like this and you're going
I
up,
know.
you're right. Or yeah,
So we'll see. We'll be
Well-
watching. Actually that's super accessible with TSN. So
yeah. No, we'll be watching for sure.
Oh,
But
again though, the Monday night final,
Monday-
super weird to me.
Yeah.
PHF, like, write us. I don't know. We don't understand you. Like,
Yeah.
you're flying down to Florida, which, I mean, I would love to join you in Florida, for one. Super cool that they're getting to go somewhere, but also you're kind of leaving your fan base at home, which I don't necessarily understand.
Yeah.
But then the 2 games Friday, day off Saturday for all the Mai Tais, Sunday semifinals, Monday night final. Strange, but we'll watch either
Yeah,
way.
PHF. We'll chat, because this is it's interesting. It's interesting because, like, normally you'd go playoff series or either a best
Yeah.
of 3 or a best of 5,
Yep.
and now it's just literally bang 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 bang. They're in Florida, like,
Well,
it's
2 game if you're one of those 2 bye teams, 2 games and you could
Bang,
be
bang.
the champ.
so it's they're doing everything different. They're
Mhm.
going
Yeah,
for
which we know. So, cool.
It's if I'm a player and the championships in Florida, I'm not
Not mad about it.
mad about it.
No.
I just you're right. Like, it as a fan, they just want everybody to go to Florida, I guess. Want everybody to go get some Mai Tais.
I guess so.
And another thing, PWHPA has announced another showcase,
Right.
which is fantastic.
Yeah.
They've got Ottawa on February 26th and 27th, which
Yep.
takes place at Steve Yzerman Arena.
Oh.
Whoa, Stevie Y
Little
Arena.
heart
I
eyes
love
there
that.
for Valentine's Day.
Ooh. And they just announced Washington for March 3rd and 6th, which is actually hosted
By the
by
Caps.
the Capitals.
That is super cool.
So the thing that I really liked about this, right after the Olympics,
Yeah, peak interest in women's hockey.
right
Agreed.
after the Olympics, bang to Ottawa, bang to Washington.
Yeah.
Literally back to back to back.
You wonder what those rosters are going to look like coming out of the
Mhm.
Olympics, eh?
Yeah. That's going to be very interesting to see where everybody goes. Because it's by region, right? So,
Yeah, and also
Depending-
what happens to the players that are there right now.
yeah. Oh, great point. Great. More teams.
Yeah, let's do that. That's
Let's
a
go
good
that
answer.
road. More teams.
Yeah.
More teams. So that'll be.
Let's Yahtzee
I thought
this.
that's yeah.
Throw
That's
your
so
names in
true.
the jar
That's
and
so
away
true. Let's
we
just
go.
keep going. But I love that you can see the strategy behind keeping riding the wave.
Yeah, for
Riding the
sure.
wave. Why not? Like, let's just
Yeah.
keep moving and progressing, because at the same time, PWHPA, 2 massive showcases, huge sponsorship. PHF legitimately heading right into their playoffs right after that.
Yeah, no,
You
lots
know?
of back to back. I do want to let everyone know who listened last week to my rant about sweaters that the PWHPA did reach out to us and said they are working on making things a lot easier, and you can expect $10 shipping coming up soon to all regions, which is super awesome. I just want to make sure to thank them for. We shared some stuff on social media and they got back to us, which is what it's all about. So I did pre the $10 shipping. I did order a PWHPA hoodie. So I'll be rocking that on an upcoming pod, but super
Yeah.
cool of them to recognize that. And
I want to get like a button where we can do like some celebratory horns, like beep beep beep
yeah, we
pew,
got some,
because
we don't have horns, but I don't know what
um,
any of these are. Oh, no. Crickets.
crickets.
No. No.
Hey! See, because that's exactly what it's about. They listened, and
Yeah.
because it's right. It's a from a consumer's point of view. They said, "Beauties, we heard you.
Yeah.
This
I
is
love
what we're
that.
doing,
I love that
100%." And
interaction.
now we will be decked out in PWHPA apparel.
Yeah.
They're doing it. I absolutely love it.
Yeah,
So that was
loved it.
huge. Thank you, PWHPA, for reaching out. That's amazing.
Agreed.
So we will definitely be watching the showcases as well, for February and March, which is going to be awesome. And then another huge showcase that happens every year is the She Believes Cup
Yeah, coming up this week.
this week.
That seems I feel like we talked about it forever ago and it's
Yeah.
already here.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, so we've got starting on the 17th.
Iceland, New Zealand, Czech, and the U.S.
USA, yeah, and then they've got, it's kind of interesting. Then they go to the 23rd and they shuffle that, and then they go to, what is it, the 27th, right?
The 20th and then the 23rd.
Okay, there you go.
17, 20,
Yeah,
23rd.
so
And then they shuffle it around and they
they'll
just
end up in Texas. It's just kind of like ended up in Florida, which is cool.
Yeah. No, I think the only thing that kind of caught my eye is the team selection this year. Like Iceland, New Zealand, and Czech.
Yeah, remember we talked about that on a podcast a while ago, and you had looked it up. You Googled it. You got on the Google
I got
machine.
on the Google train.
And it was something to do with World Cup standings.
Right.
And so we've asked ourselves, because also selfishly for us, we would love to see teams like Canada
Yeah, of course.
in the She Believes Cup. And you had mentioned Brazil last time we talked too.
Mhm.
But there was something to do with, and I also, here's my flip side to that, is that USA Soccer is the elite.
Yeah.
I also don't mind them. I'm not going to lie, I've never watched Iceland play.
No, I agree.
Like,
And
prop them up, but you're saying make it bigger. I know what you're saying.
you knew
Invite more
exactly
teams.
where I was gonna go because
Yeah.
people watch the She Believes Cup,
Yeah.
and Canada is the Olympic gold medalist.
Yeah.
Make there a huge game,
Yeah.
and then have Iceland, New Zealand, and Czech there to play, and make
Prop
it
them
a
up a bit, yeah.
huge event.
Yeah,
You know?
I hear you. I feel that.
So that, and I'm always about just trying to make it bigger, and so I just think like
Yeah.
I love the She Believes Cup. I think it stands and represents a huge, a huge message that we're trying to get out too.
For sure.
Like
Absolutely.
this is
it
all
is.
about the growth and development of women's soccer.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, I'm like, well, let's
Let's
grow
make it bigger.
Let's grow it then. Get more
Well,
teams
and that's
there.
a fair point, though, because I think this is year 7
Mhm.
of the She Believes Cup.
Yeah.
And we're still at 4 teams. So maybe that isn't a bad message of like, hey, there is room for more of this. So
Yeah.
She Believes Cup staff, Patty's
Heyo.
recommendation is make it bigger.
Yeah.
Let's
Because
grow it.
I like the message. I just love the message
They're
and the
doing
branding
a lot
of
good
it.
stuff
They're-
around that
I-
too.
yeah.
For sure.
Absolutely. So the biggest thing that came from when I was like, oh my God, I can't believe it's the She Believes Cup already. It's crazy. Megan Rapinoe,
Yeah.
Alex Morgan
Yeah.
left off the roster for USA.
Yeah, see, there's some wild changes because
Whoa.
then Jalen Howell got a seat at the table when Lindsey Horn was hurt.
Mm-hmm. And then Trinity Rodman,
Yeah,
stand by.
I know.
There's some shakeups going on here.
I know. You know, we saw this. You think back in Canada USA hockey. You remember that transition?
Yeah.
And it is hard. It's hard when you're
Agreed.
and especially when they've been foundational pieces who've been building it.
Yeah.
It's hard to swallow, but we're at that point where we're going to start to see the next gen filling spots.
Yeah, because Sophia Smith and Ashley Sanchez they talk about those two as the new up and comers coming into the national team.
Yeah.
And it's just, you're right. Like there is always transition and it's always hard. And, but like Alex Morgan signing that huge deal in San Diego and now becoming like the franchise player in San Diego, right? Like
Yep.
Megan Rapinoe will always be,
Oh, she's going to be legendary forever.
right? As long as
She
she's
just
got that
stands
pink
for-
hair. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I just think that we need more people like Megan Rapinoe in this world. She stands for everything that
Agreed.
is the best parts of humanity.
Yeah. So them being left off obviously is a little bit of like a whoa, that's crazy. But on
Mhm.
flip side, like we were just mentioning, that just shows the amount of talent that is coming up
For sure.
in soccer. So
For sure.
that's going to be taking place February 17th to 23rd and Dignity Health Sports Park in Carson, California, and Toyota Stadium in Frisco, Texas.
There you go.
Is that where Joanna Gaines is from?
You got
Come
the
on.
Google machine in front of you. Look it up, bud.
Where's
I don't
all
know.
those
I have a lot of
HGTV
fun
shows are
facts
from?
inside of me, but not that one.
You don't have the HGTV locations of people?
Nope.
Waco, Texas.
Waco.
It's Waco. It's not Frisco.
Frisco?
It's Waco.
Fresca.
Frisco. Come on.
Frisco.
Yeah. So yeah, that is going to be the She Believes Cup. I always just thoroughly enjoy.
For sure, yeah, we'll be watching that one.
Yeah.
You know what else I watched, which I think is the last thing that we can appease your pops on? We watched the Scotties.
Oh yes, of course.
Which we forgot to talk about last week because it was ending as we were recording.
Yeah.
For one.
Yeah.
Carrie Enerson becomes a back-to-back Scotties champion, which I believe puts her in the company of Colleen Jones and Jennifer Jones. Colleen Jones is in Beijing as one of the announcers for curling for the Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
And she won. She might even be a 4-time champ, actually, because when I was in high school, which was in the 2000s, I think she won every year I was in high school. 2001, I might be wrong, but 2001 to 2005-ish, Colleen Jones won. And then Jen Jones in like about when I was graduating from university, like 08 to 010, 10. Won. That is an elite company.
That's
Win it
pretty
3
incredible.
times in a row, especially when you add the fact that we've been living in a world of pandemic that has shook up their routine of playing and practicing and all of those things. That's a huge deal. So they're going to get to represent Canada again on the world stage, which is super exciting for them.
Yeah.
Heartbreak for Krista McCarville's rink,
Right.
who was
That
on
was-
home soil.
And put up a hell of a fight.
For sure. And it was interesting, that Enerson rink was undefeated in their pool play, I believe. They were 8-0. And then so they skip out of like that first playoff game. And then they end up in this playoff to go into either the 1-2 page playoff or the 3-4 page playoff.
Mm-hmm.
They lose to New Brunswick. And then they have to go into the 3-4 page, and they win that against Tracy Fleury's rink, which then ends up McCarville lost or beats New Brunswick, ends up in a rematch against New Brunswick in the semis.
I forgot about that.
So if you would have won, if you get into the 1-2 page, you get a direct into the finals. If you're in the 3-4 page, if you win, you end up in the semis against the loser of the 1-2.
Yeah.
So lost to New Brunswick, Redemption comes back and beats New Brunswick in the semifinals to make it back to the finals against Krista McCarville's home rink and ends up with the W. So congrats to both teams, but congrats to Carrie Enerson's rink for becoming a 3-time back-to-back Scotties champion.
They were partying in Tampa Bay. Oh, Tampa Bay. Thunder Bay.
Tampa Bay sounds so much more
better.
exciting than Thunder Bay.
So much better than Thunder Bay.
No offense to
That's
Thunder
Winnipeg,
Bay, but Tampa does
Yeah.
sound a lot warmer.
Yeah, no, for sure. Got a very quick phone call from my dad saying, "What? You didn't.
And
You
talk
guys are
about
what?
Scotties.
It's huge.
So
Jim.
Tim, there's your
There you
Scotties
go.
beat.
Yeah.
Right on.
No, absolutely amazing. So, lots coming up.
Yeah.
Lots coming up.
Yeah.
End of the Olympics. We got a big game there. Like She Believes Cup. This is.
Oh, there's never a shortage.
Oh, never, ever, ever.
Yeah.
So, my gosh, please, if you haven't already, follow us on Instagram, Twitter,
You betcha.
YouTube, SpeakPipe.
TikTok.
We've had some really cool questions come in from SpeakPipe. So if you have any questions at all, please feel free to reach out at speakpipe.com/beautysports.
Yeah.
We're cooking. We're cruising.
Yeah, we are.
Um,
Cool.
Yeah. So thank you everybody for tuning in. And Cowie, final words.
Final words. Happy Valentine's Day, bud.
Oh man.
And happy Valentine's Day to everybody listening. Like Addie mentioned, make sure to find us wherever you are spending your time on social media. We appreciate those of you who continue to come back every week. And if this is your first episode, thanks for joining us. We hope you'll join us next week, Tuesday. And ads, again, great week. And I look forward to the next one.
All right, everybody. Thanks so much. And we'll see you next week.